Hello. I
Hello.
said Spirit Fingers.
Oh, okay.
Spirit Fingers. It's Independence Day.
What?
Not Shaya. It's Independence Day.
What? What do you mean it's Independence Day?
It's 4th of July. No, it's not.
No,
Fuck. That's
Jesus
Tuesday. Shit.
Christ. Jesus, like,
I thought that was the sun.
it was Canada Day yesterday for our North American folks. But no, the
I
next.
thought that you'd put the Sunday date on the thing,
Why would I
despite
do that?
looking at the calendar and it says the second for the
Why
Sunday.
would I do something I've never done before?
Because I got myself confused. All right, leave me alone.
You got yourself confused. That's an understatement. You'd gone forward a day. Yeah, no. It's not Independence Day. It's a couple of days away.
Yes, Independence Day is tomorrow at the time of the release of this very podcast. The Should I Play This Game podcast, episode 283.
Just make sure you get the date is the 3rd of July. This episode will be up on.
Yeah, the third.
The
The day before Independence Day.
The day before Independence. Yeah, what you were saying before, wasn't it?
Yeah, Will Smith and fucking aliens and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, welcome to Earth, bitch. It's like literally the best line out of that whole fucking movie. Did you see the second one?
Yeah, the second one's not. Yeah, the second one's big. Well, they're both pretty average, to be pretty honest.
Oh, come on, man. The first one's not bad.
The first one's not bad.
One's not bad when Will Smith kicks open that alien spaceship, punches that alien in the face, and goes, "Welcome to Earth." That's pretty good. Anyway. Man, shit. What's going on?
Well, it's been about a month since we had one of these proper podcasts because we had obviously we had our non-E3 stuff in the middle, and then you got your appendix removed, and that missed an episode.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
So this is a bit of a catch-up episode on terms of the game playing front. But yeah, I guess we should follow up with how are you post appendix being removed?
I'm still getting some pain, eh? I went back to work on the Monday, the last Monday of the term. And then as the day was going on, I was like, this is hurting. Fuck this. I'm taking the rest of the week off. So I took the rest of the week off to further recover. Yeah. But it only hurts as we're getting towards night or after dinner.
So you've been sort of up and moving all day, and it's probably stretching muscles or something. That's probably, I don't know what it would be. Yeah.
Well, okay. When I've been home, it's literally just sitting right in this seat.
Yep.
Looking at this very monitor and playing basically Diablo 4. But yeah. Okay. I don't know. It's seemingly getting there. It's just slower than I'd like.
Slower than you like, yeah.
And I started getting fucking sick too.
Yeah, well, that doesn't help, does it?
I could feel a bit of a tickle coming on in the throat about Thursday. So I went to the chemist and got some, the throat lollies.
Mm-hmm.
And that was doing the job. And it's either delayed it severely and I'm just going to get punched with it badly as the week goes on.
Yep.
Or I've killed it enough and it's just the back end of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So you've been not working that much then, so you've obviously had a chance to play lots of games. So let's get on to your games for the last month or so.
I'm hosting here. I'll do the transition.
I'm sorry, I'll do this bit then, since you can't do that bit.
There you go. There's that transition. And then, being that I'm hosting this week, your podcast talks about the games you've played first.
Right. Yeah, so...
fucking fine.
So most of my games, as you can see on the list in the new game section, are just demos coming out of the back of the Steam Next Fest. We covered a couple of those in video form because we did Dungeon Golf. We looked at another game that's
Station to Station.
Station to Station, and a third one, which name escapes me. What was it? God, we should know what we did our own self. What did we do? Let me check what we did, because we probably should know what we did. We did...
Viewfinder.
Viewfinder, that was the other one, yes. That was the other one, thank you.
And
Viewfinder.
we did the hardware, the Asus ROG Ally.
And the ROG Ally, yeah. So we did the 3 games and that video, and the ROG Ally. So that's obviously the next podcast we do, which should be in about a fortnight. Will be post my trip. to Melbourne for work, and I'll be able to report back on exactly what that is like to travel and how it actually goes. Traveling with it, because that's obviously the purpose of buying the damn thing.
Have you installed Diablo 4 on it?
I bought that on console, so I don't have it as a PC, and I'm not buying it twice. So, if it ever comes out on sale, which I doubt it ever will, I might get it then, but no, probably not. So I've been playing a bunch of those. So a couple of the new demos I've got is New Cycle is just another. So New Cycle and Gourd, city builders, management games like I like to play.
Graham game.
Yep, the Graham game. And I think New Cycle is probably the better of the two. Gourd is it's set in sort of medieval times in a way. And actually the game opens up with this disclaimer that says if you don't like a whole bunch of things, depression, like that sort of stuff.
Oh, content warnings.
Content warnings, like it was really like a lot of things. Child sacrifice, all this really kind of out there stuff. The game looks really good. It's a really good game. Like it's sort of that sort of top down as you can imagine. Done in Unreal Engine. I'm not too sure if it's 4 or 5. I think it might actually be 5.
Is this like a fantasy Frostpunk?
Sort of, and that's probably the closest to it in terms of games that you might have heard of or played, maybe depending on what you've. But yeah, so it's really like it's a really dark game in terms of its content.
Very bleak.
It's also quite dark in its visual because it's set in a this sort of fantasy world where it's all basically gone to shit. So it's not much light, So it's a very dark game to play. It's really well voice acted. Has some really good cutscenes. Like I'm almost talking Blizzard's level of quality, not quite, but in that direction. That were really surprisingly good to see. Like I just didn't expect a game like that to have that sort of thing. But I just didn't really like the setting as much as I thought I was going to. So it's I think it gameplay wise quite neat. Very similar to the games we've done videos on, where you've got needs of your people that you need to meet their needs to make them quote unquote happy. But there's no money per se, so there's no revenue from making those citizens happy. It's just that they don't lose their marbles and do silly things with that sort of thing. So it's not that per se. So that's why I think it was just a little bit too serious in essence, and I just didn't really dig it as much as I thought I was going to. As I said, the graphics of it is really nice. Look of it is really good. Audio is really good. But yeah, just the setting didn't quite sit with me as well as I thought it was going to when I downloaded the demo. Whereas New Cycle is another city builder that is still on my wish list now. I liked it that much. You can still get the demo, which is good. I think the Gold one's now unavailable, I believe.
Yeah, it is. I checked the Steam page for that. Okay. That's coming out in about.
It's only out in a couple of weeks' time, so it's not that far away. But yeah, New Cycle is really quite good. I haven't played a lot of it because I got to a certain point where I said, right, I'll just wait till this is out. This is still on my coming soon list. It's more in line with. So I played it for about an hour, I think. I played about an hour of it. Although it doesn't tell me. Because I haven't got it installed. It probably won't tell me. So it's got sort of similar. It's got seasons to it. You've got a lot of resource management to it. Probably more than I thought when I first got it. But it's also so it's got a lot of resource management to it. Visually, I think it looks quite good as well. Looks quite good in motion. I think it might get a little bit too what's the word I'm looking for? I think it might get. I think the problem I might have. I had with the demo was that I wasn't really sure why my citizens were upset at me. It wasn't particularly clear at saying that, and that's something that in the demo that might become clearer the longer I play it in an actual proper setting with proper onboarding and stuff like that. But it was a little bit unclear as to sometimes why things were happening that I wasn't really sure of. But beyond that, I
They
think
got to
it's
know you. They got to know your taste, and they're like, "Oh, fuck this guy."
um, yeah. So it's quite. As I said, I like quite enjoy that a lot. So it's still on my wish list. So we shall see how that. I may not get it at launch because, as it hasn't got a launch date, but I don't know. It might. I might be waiting. I might do a wait and see for that one when it ultimately comes out. I'm assuming this year, though there's nothing indicating it will definitely be this year, but I suspect it will be.
Mm.
Shadow Gambit is the new one from Mimi. That's the Desperados 3 developers. I played the first mission, loved it. I loved it a lot. It's got great acting, great everything about it. I stopped playing it after that because that game's out in like a month and a half or something. So I had no need
Are
to
you
keep
still
on
playing
playing.
Shadow Tactics?
Not so much now. I mean, I kind of stopped playing it because I sort of got my little bit of feel out of it that I needed,
Yeah.
in essence. I may go back to it, but I probably won't at this point. But I'd like to go back to it.
It's probably the more fucked out of the three that they've done.
How
It's
do you mean
I
fucked?
find it like a lot harder.
Oh, okay, yeah. As I said, I hadn't played enough to get to that sort of
Mm.
draw that conclusion. But yeah, so I played that game, that demo as well. Yeah, that's looking really, really good, as I kind of
Mm.
suspected it would. Yeah, it's got everything about it looks really, really good. They've added a couple of new mechanics to it. There's a bit more open world stuff to it than that was in the previous ones. But yeah, it's looking not open world's not the right term. Yeah, like you've got a bit more freedom of movement before you activate on missions. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. The last three games. So we'll go above snakes. I think we may have discussed above snakes in either a video or a
I looked at it in a
maybe
Steam Next
maybe
Fest video.
was it last year?
Shit,
Was it Summer
it
Games
was the
Fest?
last year one.
Maybe last year one. Yeah, okay.
It was
Um,
the last year one. It might have been the mid-year one,
not
not the
not the not
last of
not
last year.
okay.
But
Um,
I definitely have done that on video.
yeah, okay. Maybe that's what I'm getting confused. Yes, so Above Snakes is basically a survival um, game. The one sort of twist that this game has over other ones is that you basically get to sort of lay down the environment.
Mm.
What I mean by that is I haven't played it for a little while, so I can't quite remember the mechanic. But basically, there's like a timer that's counting down as you progress through.
It's not a timer. It's a progression monitor.
So actually, you're doing something. As I said, I can't quite
Yeah,
remember.
as you're doing quests, as you're
Questions
doing stuff and
as you're doing stuff.
progressing and developing and further building up the settlement that you're starting, you get more and more blocks that you can drop of
Yeah, and
environment.
literally, as Steve said, you actually drop the next
Mm.
environment square down onto the environment. So it's a really neat little thing.
You do get a choice of a couple of different types
Yeah,
from
like you
memory
get
as
like
well.
one that you've got like it's all grassland, all
Yeah.
bush, combination of that and water and stuff like that. So you do get a bit of control over what sort of environment. If you need water for a particular thing, then you can lay down a sort of a water block.
A river or a lake sort of
Yeah, yeah,
block.
but you've got to line up with. You can't just put a lake square down randomly. You've got to line up with like the existing environment's got to sort of line up with the potential new block in terms of like matching the transition between the existing blocks and the new ones. So you can't just sort of just lay down a lake in the middle of nowhere. You've got to have so you got to lay down a bit more spicy than that. But yeah, it's got some little neat mechanics of it. Yeah, I really did like it. So that's probably one
It
I'll
it was a cool idea. It's just not the sort of thing I could see myself sticking with for a long
yeah
period of time, which is
yeah
why I
like
never grabbed it.
Yeah, so it's not a Steve game as we've discovered. So we'll get to your list, your top of Steve games in a second, because you've got your own.
I have nothing against survival or city builders. Like I'm really really interested in SteamWorld Build.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Because I think there's the element of that survival type ish thing where it's like, ooh, let's just dig holes. And there's the city builder component to it as well, and all that sort of stuff.
There's a stripped back version of that stuff to make it a little bit more accessible. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so you've got your. When we get to your list, we'll know. What,
there's
there's definitely a few Steve
things
games.
we could call Steve games there.
Absolutely. So that's basically what. So I like Above Snakes. Pile Up I'd like to do a video of. I'm not too sure when we'll get around to doing it, but I'd like to do Pile Up as a video. It's basically it's a city builder, but it's on a really, really small scale. And you basically build buildings upwards on a really small block of land that you're given access to. And basically how you sort of connect buildings to other buildings give you more population. And also, if you don't build the right things, your citizens get really annoyed at you, and basically the game just ends really quite abruptly. With I think they actually call it social unrest. Is the end?
Fuck yeah!
Is the thing you sort of end up with, and that's the thing that ends the game, or ends your turn. Then you just restart it again straight away after it. So it's a really quick to get.
Turn it into the fucking French protest.
Yeah, so it looks really neat. I played it for about an hour or so, and it does look really neat. So yeah, I'd like to do a video of that one. It's only been out for.
It's pretty cheap too.
It's only been out for a month or so, but yeah, it was only like $7.
Like
I think
$14 or something.
I think I might have got it on
$14.50 right now in early access.
Yeah, so it's in early access. So yeah, Roots of Pasha is a game that is basically Stardew Valley in essence.
It's pretty historic Stardew, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. That's essentially it.
There was some real fucked up developer and publisher drama around this thing too.
Oh, okay.
You remember when it got pulled off Steam for a couple of months and shit like that?
Oh, was that this one? Okay, that's happened a lot.
Yeah.
That happened to a lot of games. It's a bit hard to keep track of that.
That is, yeah, they're happening. Yeah, fuck.
But yeah, it's actually out, so it's not in early access or anything. It's actually on 20% sale at the moment because of the summer games sale, winter/summer.
Well, winter sale for us, but
winter
they
for
call
us,
it
yes, summer for everyone else. But yeah, it's basically as Steve described it. It's basically prehistoric Stardew. So you've got your same mechanics, building. Doing little quests, planting things, growing crops, that kind of stuff. And it has a story to it, which is I don't really remember much of it.
So does Stardew, technically.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean the story is the moment-to-moment stuff you're doing. But yeah, it's a neat little. Graphically looks really neat. Decent writing from the characters and what they say. There's no voice acting in it, but it's all written, word stuff. So yeah, it's. I like it. I mean, I'll probably end up getting back to it. It's a perfect ally game. I'm not going to use the term a perfect Switch game. It's a perfect ally game. It's low res, low poly sort of thing. So the ally should be able to play it quite easily. Things I'm still playing. I'll start with Diablo 4. I've fallen off Diablo 4 big time, and I'm not really sure why.
I'll be the opposite.
So I'm playing two characters, sort of bit of both each time, and I think that's probably why I need to probably stick with.
I was going to say that might be part of it.
That's probably one of it. So I'm playing a rogue. I've got them both up to level 19 each. I think maybe the barbarians at 20.
Are you doing a marksman rogue or are you doing a melee rogue?
I'm leaning more towards the marksman, like more range than up front sort of up close stuff. I played barbarian through to and went to what I think is the end of. Well, it's a very tough boss, and I assume it's the end of the first act. It's like you go down this dungeon as you do with a lot of things, and you got what's the character thing started with? Like you're following this woman who's helping the,
and she's looking for a mum.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that.
Yeah, she's looking for a mum, and then it's like, hey, what's going on? My mum's like, what? Oh shit, my mum's dead because she tried hanging out with Lilith.
Yeah, tried helping Lilith. And then you wake up the mother, or I think probably not almost dead, And then you go into this boss battle with it, and it just kicked my ass. I was playing Barbarian and it just kicked my ass. I just could not get
Are you
past it.
are you playing a World Tier 1 or 2?
So the Rogue I'm playing World Tier 2, and the Barbarian's World Tier 1.
Okay.
So yeah, it just kicked my ass, and I thought, oh fuck this, and I just walked away from it. I did
Wait till you
read.
try Stronghold. Fuck.
I did read something that it's possible that the Barbarian might not be. It's harder to do that boss because of the nature of it.
Oh,
So
really?
I've sort of read that you're better off with ranged combat with that boss because
I was
of.
going to say I didn't struggle that much with that against her.
Yeah, I mean yeah, you play games way more than I do, so that's.
Well, it's also like I've also played a metric fuck ton of Diablo 2.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
Of this one in particular.
yeah, so I still really like it. I mean, there's no, it's just that other things came along, and the other thing that came along was more getting back into Ixion, which is the game we did a video of probably close to around a month ago now. That game kind of goes some interesting places.
Like narratively.
Narratively, yeah, it's interesting.
Sweet.
I haven't finished it yet. I'm on to what I believe is the fifth and last chapter. So we'll probably end up talking about it more in the next episode because I'll actually would hopefully by all planning have finished it. But yeah, it goes some interesting places with the story. So I won't sort of do it here because I'll do it more justice when I actually finish it, knowing how it actually ultimately finishes. But yeah, I have really dug the story way more than I thought I would. As the game progressed, I got more interested into the story, which is kind of what the story should do, I guess, in one aspect.
You'd hope.
But I didn't
just front load all the good shit. And just
yeah. But yeah, so it does seem like a really good sort of story to it. But yeah, okay, in terms of the overall gameplay, like we covered pretty much everything in that video that we did. I've now opened up, not surprisingly, I've opened up all the 6 sectors of that that vessel, the Tycoon spaceship. I basically went through a process in the latter part of chapter 3 of basically rebuilding pretty much every sector to make it more efficient because I just laid down stuff in a really haphazard way when I first did it.
Nice one.
So now I've got like I think I've got like each sector can hold up to like 1,000 people in it, and they're pretty much all full. And yeah, it's yeah, I'm really digging I like that game an awful lot. And it does appear to be some branching stuff story-wise that means you actually do miss stuff, and I believe there might have been multiple endings to it. I definitely have the impression based on what I've just done in chapter 5, there is definitely 2 ways that game can go in terms of how you complete it. I'm not too sure if it would necessarily be a different ending, but there is definitely different paths through that game from a narrative perspective, which you wouldn't normally expect from a game like that. That's kind of why I'm sort of more intrigued by it. Like city builders like that generally don't have very dense stories, but this one does. So
apparently there are 2 main endings and a third for failure.
Okay, I'm curious how you would fail. Probably just everything would go pear-shaped, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, so I think based on a decision I made in chapter 5, I'm going to at least one of those endings, and I'm actually somewhat curious. I might even go back to an older save, and do a different path to see what the other ending's like. So yeah, really digging it, liking a lot about it. So yeah, I'll as I said, my plan is to finish that by the time I record next time for a podcast, which as I said, will be in a fortnight, and my plan may not work out because I've got work to do, and then I've got a work trip in the middle of that. So obviously I'll have it on the Ally. It does play okay on the Ally, so I might be able to progress it there as well. But we shall see. It'll depend on how much time I get to myself when I'm on this trip. So yes, that's it for me. Nothing else consumed from a media perspective.
Filmic perspective.
So your games.
So I've basically had 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Oh, but well, I have.
Actually, surprised the list is not as big as I was expecting for that amount of time. The list would be bigger, but
it's because I spent a lot of
You spend a lot of time in Diablo trying to
Diablo
get five to
4
six.
is a
I'm guessing.
really easy game to play when you're in that sort of recovery because
Oh, yeah.
it's not particularly involved. It's very much just move the mouse and like
Yeah.
Diablo 4. Yeah, it's more active than 3.
Yeah.
You're having to do a lot more like micromanaging, a lot more dodging, and a lot more active
Mm.
like participation. But I'll get to Diablo 4 in a moment
Mm.
because I finished Proto Droid Delta.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, it didn't really feel fully complete because it like ends. You finish a boss fight and then it just ends.
Oh.
There's this whole thing where it's like, hey, it's not even the main boss either. It's like a clone of yourself, and then it ends in a way like there's DLC or a sequel planned. So
Okay.
I went onto the Steam discussion boards and I was like, is it just me or does this thing feel unfinished? And the one of the devs were like, yeah, basically. We're sort of not necessarily DLC, but sort of opening, leaving the door open for a sequel. I'm like, okay.
Mm.
I did still really enjoy it. The last boss was the toughest thing in the game, understandably.
Mm-hmm.
I think I died more on the boss than I did across the whole game. I think I only died like 2 or 3 times across the rest of the game.
Yep.
But it wasn't particularly frustrating. It was like, fuck, god damn it. So yeah, I finished that. That was cool. Death Star, the memories between I ended up finishing relatively quickly. The story's only about 3.5, 4 hours. Once you finish the game unlocks 3 sets of challenges, which is where you unlock the rest of the cast.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But those challenges are fucking fucked. like really quite hard. So I just like, I'm done. But like, I wanted to see the story play out because the internalized conversations that, like, part of it is that all of the narrative plays out in Desta's dreams. So she's repairing these relationships with characters and repairing conflict and things like that in her dreams, but you never see them actually play out when she's awake.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, it would have been interesting to see, do those internalized conversations and internalized conflicts play out in the same way that they do in her head?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But no, that one's still cool. It's a cool little tactics game, that one. Not top of a class or anything, but for a smaller independent project that is telling a very different story, I really was interested by it. Like I said, I've played a fucking heap of Diablo 4. I've finished the campaign.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So now I'm just running endgame shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you hit level 50, you start doing Paragon points, but they're different from. It's different from Diablo 3.
Different mechanic, isn't it? But the same.
Yeah, it's more like a skill tree.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So like you hit different nodes where it's like +5 dexterity, +5 strength, and then there'll be some skill based ones on the initial one. And then when you get to the end of that tree, you can add a new one to it, and the new ones are much more complex and have more skills to unlock.
Okay. Because I think for Diablo 3 you just added.
Just adding point percentage
points to each section or something. It wasn't each like like added more strength.
There were specific types of Paragon points, so you could up your attack speed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like because my rogue is now level 66. It takes at least a good hour, maybe 2, to fully go up a level now.
Yeah, to go up. Yeah, so you obviously you're in. Yeah.
So I have been playing a lot, and I've just been doing a lot of endgame stuff for now because I would like to finish off the renown parts for each of the 5 locations.
That's kind of where I'm at with that. I kind of like that concept that those little sort of side things you can do in each area and just build up that renown.
Yeah.
So I'm probably end up doing a lot of that in my couple of playthroughs I've got of it before I actually progress the story. It's the open world, issue where you've got a bunch of icons on the map. So obviously there are some things in those at lower levels that might be a little bit harder to do because you don't have a particular build.
Some of them are, yeah.
You don't have a particular build or whatever. But yeah, it's that mechanic inside that game is an interesting twist they've added to it, which I think's a good one.
It's really funny because I'd maxed out the 3 levels on the first couple of areas. because it's just like, I'm doing all these side quests. Yee! And then, like, because I was like, I got about, I don't know, start of Act 2. And I'm like, I want to get better gear. I want to get better loot. I want World Tier 3. Fuck this.
Mm.
And that's like, you don't get World Tier 3 until you finish the campaign. I'm just like, God damn it. So I ended up somewhat rushing the campaign a little more and just had a grip of side quests to do.
Yeah, okay.
And couldn't pick any more up.
Yeah, okay.
The strongholds are doable once you hit like level 30.
Yeah, okay.
There's like 3 in each area, but everything is 2 levels above you. And as it turns out, when you're around that like level 30, 40 area, those strongholds are a shitload harder. Like level 33 and then fighting level 35 stuff is way harder than being level 62 and fighting level 64 stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely crushed the last. I left a good half of the strongholds until after I finished the campaign.
Yep.
And I blitzed through all of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, like, once you finish the campaign, it's fighting world bosses. So I've done that a few times.
Yep.
So remember the one we fought in the beta?
Oh, the beta, yeah, yep.
So that, like, because of the the level scaling, when you're at World Tier 2, everything caps at level 50.
Oh, really?
But everything stays to your level.
Yep.
Which has its benefits and its drawbacks. Like, you'd want to be overpowered so you can just absolutely smoke fools.
Yeah.
But it also does keep the combat interesting.
Yep.
You're actually having to try, which there's... Yeah. Yep. But, like, you roll up through their, like, fully maxed skill tree and everything like that, you just fucking melt them. It's great. And then there's the Nightmare Dungeons. So now I'm just trying to, like... I'm not even picking up yellow gear anymore.
Yeah, it's
like... It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just picking up the orange shit now. Because there's the unique items that I'm trying to get.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I've got a couple of them. But yeah. So I've been part of killing the world boss 3 times. I've run a few of the Nightmare Dungeons, which are great.
With the world bosses, what did you get really good gear out of the world boss? I assume you did.
I can't remember if I've actually gotten any good, like, really good gear out of it, or gear that's replaced the shit I've already got.
Okay.
So basically, there's 2 main things I would like to try. So at level 70, the second capstone dungeon opens up, which that's how you unlock World Tier 4.
Okay. Yep.
And then once you unlock World Tier 4, when you hit level 100, you fight a Wraith of Lilith or an Illusion of Lilith or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that's supposed to be the most fucked thing in the game.
Okay, yep.
So I wouldn't mind getting to that point, but the grind is hitting quite hard because of how long it takes to hit level.
The grind is on, isn't it, for you? So, so what did
like some side quests.
So when you finished the story, what were you at level-wise at the end of the campaign?
53 or 54.
Okay.
So like I ended up finding the last few hours of the campaign a little bit easier because everything World 2 caps at level 50.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was able to just sort of not necessarily walk through it, but got through it a fair bit easier than probably I would have.
Yeah.
But now it's just the end game shit.
It's interesting that it caps at 50. I thought it kept it would have. That's sort of the one thing I haven't really liked about it, is the fact that it does level with you, rather than having zones that are at a certain level where you can go back into and not get as much gear out of it, or get no gear at all, and fuck all XP because you're 10 levels above them, sort of thing. That's sort of the thing I
think that's what they wanted to avoid because of the end game stuff, where it is that open world and there are.
Yeah, I mean they've made a different game to Diablo 3, so the what they've done suits what they've made, if that kind of makes sense. The way they've structured the campaign, and the leveling, it makes sense to how they've structured the whole game overall.
The 5-second cooldown on the dash is really giving me the shit.
Yeah, that's probably one thing. Things like that I don't like either. Like that dash should be something you should be able to get out of.
It is good when you can get gear that gives you multiple dash charges, and that's fucking great.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, 5 seconds to cooldown when I'll drop one of my traps, and then go to dash, and then I'm like accidentally dash myself into the middle of this big fuck off group, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So like it is and these are what Diablo games always are. They're awesome podcast or video games.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, for sure.
Like to have like a video on the second screen,
especially when you've gone through the campaign and there's nothing to quote unquote watch. And even though those like easily enough with that game, you can just pause your podcast for the 20 seconds, 30 seconds the cutscene runs, and then back to everything being on again. Yep. So you don't really need to have, you don't really need to be paying that much attention to the story, per se.
No,
because that story's basically almost kind of been a bit the samey for the last couple. Like the last one had another demon boss that was trying to fuck up the world.
Stranger in a strange land, and then a big bad you have to go fuck up.
Yeah, and they're both trying to do the same ultimate goal. They're trying to get back their land or get back their world and destroy everything on the way through. So yeah,
kill the primeval.
Yeah.
Have you might not have run into him yet. Have you run into the butcher yet?
No. No.
So like I don't think he spawns until like either level 50 or like maybe world tier 3. I can't remember. But like sometimes randomly you'll be running through a dungeon and all of a sudden the butcher just comes in and fucking murders you. But like he drops a unique, like it's called the Butcher's Blade. It's like a high level unique item. I killed him once when he was level 59 and I was level 64 when I was running a nightmare dungeon. But man, it's rough. It's like the most fucked up thing I've run into so far because you just run through and go rah 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 rah.
I think I might have played against him. Now you sort of mentioned that sort of mechanic, maybe. Yeah, I can't remember. I think I might have played him once.
He's a prick.
Yeah, I think I might have played him once. I think I might have played him once, maybe. Yeah, just got myself absolutely smashed. Where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah. So the nightmare dungeons. So you've run a couple of the dungeons that have the aspects and all that sort of stuff, yeah?
Aspects? No.
Aspects of power.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not that it doesn't ring a bell. Yeah.
Okay. So like the dungeons are 20 maybe minute sort of unique things that you can run, and then you get an aspect of power that you can attach to an item. I think it's the only single use. So if you attach it and then break the item, the aspect disappears with it. So I haven't used it.
Yeah, okay.
But like you get sigils that make dungeons nightmare dungeons. So like if I get a level 6 sigil, it'll turn a nightmare dungeon's enemies into level 56, 57 maybe. Yep. So and you get better gear and you get better XP out of it, and there's certain buffs and debuffs that happen in there.
Okay.
And you'll get a bunch of the sigils drop as you're progressing through that.
Yeah, okay.
And there are some really like the end game activities are like fun enough. It's just that grind.
Yeah, yeah.
And then of course, old Street Fighter 6. Now I didn't do the videos or the streaming on Friday because I was starting to feel the sickness coming down. So I'm like, I'm not going to make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
I had finished the world tour, or at least ran credits on the world tour. I didn't find two of the coaches, which was a little bit annoying. But yeah, whatever. I finished it. So now I'm just ranking up my Luke and thinking about trying to learn and play a different character. I've hit Silver 3. And going along okay. I was playing on Saturday afternoon and ran into a Kimberly that pissed me off a little bit, but once I figured out exactly what they did, it was, okay, and then I just whooped their ass.
Yep.
Modern controls still kind of piss me off, particularly like every Zangief I've seen online is modern controls because it's a one-button spinning pile driver.
Okay.
And even though it does, like, it knocks 10 to 20% off, when the spinning pile driver already does like 30% damage, it's like, oh fuck.
Okay.
So I ran into one of them on Saturday, and then just like they just kept trying to run up and do the one button SPD, and it's like, no, I'm just gonna jump this, combo you, and go, haha. Motherfuckers. Now the new games. Let's start with the arse block. 20 minutes till dawn. I actually wrote the name down wrong, so I got it mixed up with the Iron Maiden song 2 minutes to midnight. 20 minutes till dawn, Project Lazarus, and Brotato, 3 games of a similar ilk. The ass game. Auto shooting survival games. 20 Minutes Till Dawn is a little more active. Project Lazarus is relatively pretty. Brotato, I think, at least in the single 2-3 hour session I played of it, is the closest to Vampire Survivors from a quality perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Project Lazarus was, it was fine, whatever. 20 Minutes Till Dawn, I was enjoying for a bit, but Brotato was cool.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a little egg potato shaped dude, and you stack guns and you fucking just blast people with little monsters. And like you're having 6 guns just hanging around like in a circle around your little potato guy. Gus is saying, "What up?"
No, he's not.
Is that Gus?
No, it was just me sneezing.
I had one
sneezing.
of them coming. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I dig Brotato. That just came out of early access. Strayed Lights is an exploration sort of Souls-like that it's just like the Steam page has the tag Souls-like on it, and I'm like, it's not that Soulsy because like the combat has a bit of sloppiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not really combat. You have an attack. You eventually get an attack, but your attack is parrying. Like you have to like time each parry, and each monster attacks differently. And then after a while, you build up enough energy to basically go brah, and it blows the monster up.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. There's also very little contextual information about what you're doing and why, so it's all very aimless.
Mm-hmm.
It's very pretty, but there was some stuttering and frame rate drops and things like that. But like, I just didn't like it that much. I just dropped it after about an hour.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I like me a Souls-like, and this has an interesting look. But like, it's not even combat. It's just like, hit the button for the parry, and you can attack him, but the attack does fuck all.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just like, I'm done. After Image, I'd played a demo of as part of the Steam Fest a while ago. Very pretty, very fun to play. But when you play the full game, there's a fucking girth to that thing that it just feels really bloated. Apparently 25 to 30 hours.
Oh, okay.
Which, for a Metroidvania, that's just too long to me. Like, 12, 15 is a real good, tight Metroidvania-style experience. So, there's that, but there's also no direction for where you're meant to go. So you just sort of run around. And eventually you run around, uncover areas of the map, which is satisfying, but then you hit nothing mission critical. So it just seems like a waste of time. And it's like, what the fuck am I even doing here? And that bloat and the drop-off of that bloat, it's really shown in the achievements, because the first achievement had, at least at the time I played it, had a 93.3% unlock rate. The next highest unlock rate for an achievement, 44.6. And then the other 42 achievements was sub 30% unlock rate.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just fell off after a couple of hours because I'm like, I'm just running around here, not knowing where the fuck I'm meant to go, not knowing what the fuck I'm meant to do.
Sounds like you're not alone by the sounds of those stats.
Like, if it had some direction and it wasn't as big and bloated as it is, then it'd be a lot more fun. It'd be a lot more interesting and a lot more entertaining. Because I have no problem wandering off the beaten path in a Metroidvania and just wandering and finding the map. That part, yeah, fine. But at least then give me some indication of what I'm actually meant to do or where I'm meant to go. Like, the quest descriptions are barely single sentences.
Oh, okay.
And they don't say shit about what you're actually meant to be doing or what, like, it's just like, oh, I need to go find Brian. Who the fuck is Brian? Doomblade is, again, like After Image, a very pretty and mostly fun Metroidvania. Unique traversal combat mechanic in that it combines traversal and combat.
Okay.
You're a little impling, and you find the Doomblade, and you use the Doomblade to both lock onto enemies and then teleport, cut them up, and also to teleport and across the environment and things like that. But I also think that game has the single worst final boss encounter I've ever played.
Okay.
It was fucked. Like, you are focusing so much of your time on so many different disparate things happening on the screen at once, and there's things that you can just get fucked on.
Yeah.
So like I ended up finishing it. I'm like, nah, fuck this. I'm sticking this out. This game's not going to beat me. I'm going to beat it. Which the game ends up winning at that point, but whatever.
Yeah.
But finishing it almost felt more like luck than it did skill.
Okay. Yep.
Which that's never a great feeling. And it took me a good 2-3 hours off the top to actually beat that final boss. It was an absolute motherfucker. Finally, I have started in on Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun, which is the old and sort of classic style shooter that came out from Focus Interactive about a month ago, 6 weeks ago. I really like it. I'm playing it on hard because I'm a dickhead. So some of the encounters have just been fucking absolute nightmarish. There was one part where it's like, purge, kill everything. I'm like, all right, sweet. There was like 5 or 6 waves of like monsters and enemies to kill. I'm just like running around going, I need health. Oh shit. They're 3 episodes, 8 levels per episode. I'm at the start of the 3rd one now. So yeah, the combat is really like good and chunky. It's just, I'm really digging it. I'm really enjoying it. There's a few parts where I'm like, oh, this is fucked. And I really don't like the music.
Okay.
Like, the music, like, Warhammer Shooters Blood and Teeth was great because it had, like, that real dumb metal sort of soundtrack in the background of it. This is going almost a little more synthy.
Okay, yep.
And it doesn't fit the aesthetics of the game. It doesn't fit the actual combat. I don't dig it. So I went into Spotify and just like, all right, I'm setting up a queue of a bunch of deathcore stuff that's on my 2023 playlist. I'm turning the music in the game all the way to 0. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it fits way better. Just listen to fucking Lorna Shore and Cattle Decapitation while I'm shooting orcs and dumb chaos shit. It's great. I'm really digging that game. But yeah. So that's where I'm at. I'm hoping to finish Bolt Gun after we finish recording. There's a game that came out in early access like last week or in the last couple of weeks that I really want to do a video of. I saw a video of it on Saturday called Mars First Logistics.
Yes, this is. Is this the I think that name does ring a bell. Is this the?
So it was shown during Day of the Devs, which I never watched. But I watched like a 2.5-3 hour video of it on Saturday while I was playing Diablo.
Okay. Yep.
And it looks like Sable running at 60 frames a second, but it's all like it's a sort of delivery stuff, but also Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts in that you're building the car to do the deliveries. And it looks like it has this really awesome handling model, some great music to it, a fantastic look. So I haven't played it yet. I bought it. But I would really like to do at least a video of some point.
Yeah, it's got single player and online co-op. Which is interesting.
Yeah. As I said, it's a relatively open world in that you have to go to these different antennas to get the reception right so you can drive to some of the further away bases and make deliveries. I think it's a game you might dig. I don't know.
Like it might be. Yeah.
I really liked Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts though. So I saw this, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, let's go. I wouldn't mind doing a video of some Diablo 4 endgame stuff, but I would prefer doing that with you at the endgame. But we'll see how that goes.
You could be waiting a while for me to get to the endgame.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, oh shit, how long are we going to be waiting for this? Fuck. But yeah.
I do plan to get there, but I have no desire to do it quickly, so.
I think focus on your barbarian.
Maybe I might try this boss battle with the rogue and see how it goes. If I find it easier, I might just then stick with the rogue for the rest of the campaign, and then go back to the barbarian and finish it with that. But yeah, because the barbarian, like
the barbarian, about it.
Yeah, yeah, the barbarian's like I've got like he's pretty chunky. Like a barbarian's pretty chunky. But yeah, up against this boss, I just couldn't get it. Yeah, just beat my ass. For me, it was like this really weird difficulty spot that sort of came out of nowhere. That games that do that annoy the absolute fuck out of me. I just hate them.
I can't remember what was up with her with that fight. Whether it's because if she's poison enhanced or poison enchanted or whatever, she's dropping like lakes of poison, and that's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, but it's got. I think from what I can recall, it's got like maybe. But there's like it's on a little platform in the ocean or in the water. So you've got things down the side shooting sort of beams of damage or whatever. Then she spawns in enemies that can take you out. So you got to take them out. Then only when you're taking them out can you take her out a bit. It just seems to go on a bit too long for. I've played it 3 or 4 times and couldn't beat her, and I thought, bugger this, I'll just walk away. So I mean, I will go back to it, but yeah, games that have these massive difficulty spikes out of nowhere annoy the absolute fuck out of me. I hate them. And it just doesn't seem to.
You're not the only one, because I looked up Act 1 Boss Diablo 4, and like 4 results down, there's a thread on Reddit. Act 1 Boss Barb, what an ass of a fight for barbarians.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah, barbarians I think are going to struggle with that because of the nature of the barbarian character. A lot of things I've read about is your range characters, so your rogue, your sorcerer, and maybe even the druid skill, but maybe that stuff is going to fare better with that battle because of the nature of the characters. So, which I think is irritating. If they created a boss battle that's easy for one type of character versus another one, I think that's a problem. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah,
it's still relatively new. They've done a couple of balancing patches.
They've done a couple, and I think I'll let them do a couple more before I get back to it to see if I find it easier to play as the barbarian, because I do like the barbarian character a lot.
Or I join your game and then I just come in and help you fucking ruin her.
No, I prefer to finish it my own if I can.
Fair enough.
So yeah, as it, yeah, that's the plan at this stage, is to probably have a go with the rogue and see what it's like, and then maybe go from there.
Well, I can't. It's not Lilith's Lament off the top of my head, but it's the woman's mum. I think I know the fight you're talking about.
Yeah, look, it's
a fucker.
You're following her. You're following the daughter through this sort of dungeon. Who's chasing her mother, who's for some misguided reason is helping Lilith, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the end of that process, she basically turns on you and the.
She's like, haha, heel turn.
Yeah, basically, you then have to fight her. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but up until that point, I was really liking that game until that point.
I'm sure we'll talk more about Diablo 4.
I still do.
I've had to respec the rogue a bunch of times for different boss fights until I found the right sort of combination for me too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It might need to be just a redistribution of skills, because it is so cheap, particularly once you build up some gold.
Yeah,
it is really cheap to just respec.
Yeah.
So, well.
Yeah, anyway.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll keep talking about Diablo 4, no doubt, for the next, fucking 6 months or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, fair chance. Let's go to the beginning of the end.
Alright, cool.
Fuck. I'm gonna be carried away. Hey, it's the beginning of the end. Thanks for listening. No. There's not really too much to talk about in the beginning of the end.
Yeah, there's been a bit of there's the old post E3 news lull has happened. There's not much going on.
Nintendo had a direct and showed off some really fucking awesome looking shit, which filled out a lot of the back half of 2023. They literally have a remake of Super Mario 64 coming in October, and in November I think they're doing Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is a new 2D Mario game. The trailer for that looked fucking crazy. They're doing some really weird and interesting shit with Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And what else they got coming? They're doing a Princess Peach game for next year. Yeah, they're doing a bunch of really cool, weird, and interesting things. Which, that's what Nintendo should be doing, other than making a new fucking Switch. Because, fuck me. I keep forgetting and then remembering. I bought Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Haven't even touched it. And then it's like, oh, fuck. Ugh. That Mickey Mouse game comes out at the end of the month too. Yo.
Oh, we could
Mickey
do
Mouse Metrovania.
Let's do that then. Since we've just hit July, let's do July's games.
Triple M. Mickey Mouse Metroidvania. I was having a look at this list earlier. There's not a the first half of July is fucking shit. There's like nothing there. Okay, July. Yeah, it's relative. July is pretty quiet, all things considered. We've got, what do we got here? Oxenfree. Like, I've seen reviews of this Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie. So we're looking at a Wikipedia list. Very, very sophisticated release list we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Very exclusive. We're the only ones who can look at it. There's a JRPG called Legend of Heroes Tales into Reverie, which has been getting positive reviews. Not my sort of thing, though, so whatever. Oxenfree 2 comes out on the 12th of July, but I've never played the original Oxenfree.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it, but I've never played it. Have you ever played it?
No.
I think maybe Mike played it, because I remember either Mike or Paul talked about it like ages ago. Exo Primal and Jagged Alliance. Oh, Jagged Alliance 3's out on the 14th. All right, I kind of forgot about that. I'm interested in Jagged Alliance 3. It's like a wartime tactics game. Like XCOM.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Cool. That was shown off and announced last year, I think, during the Microsoft thing, off the top of my head. Then there's a few little things, like there's a re-release of Might and Magic Clash of Heroes coming out, which is a game that came out originally on Xbox Live Arcade. Remember those halcyon days of Xbox Live Arcade? Basically kind of a match 3-ish sort of game, and a lot of people really dug it. There's a definitive edition of that coming out.
Just remember, there's actually another game I didn't talk about, Puzzle Quest 3.
Oh,
came out on
Wait, hang on, Puzzle Quest 3.
Pretty sure that's what it is. Let me just check the name of it. It's on Xbox.
Get out of town. There's another Puzzle Quest.
Pretty sure it's on X. Yeah, it's not definitely on Xbox.
There is a Puzzle Quest 3, but it's free to play.
Yeah, this one's free to play on Xbox as well.
Oh shit! It came out. I didn't realize this came out this year.
I think the game's been on PC
Maybe
last year. I think. But
early access release date was the 1st of March 2022, and then it came out in late May of this year. Out of early access.
Yeah, so this game is on.
That explains that.
The game is on Xbox as well. It's also free on Xbox. It's got the standard, pay to win or pay to speed things up kind of a stuff as you expect. Yeah, now that I just remembered, I'll probably might be worth doing a video on that when I come back.
Do you actually like it?
Yeah, I do. I've always liked match 3 games like that. It's a little bit I think it's different from previous games in terms that you so you've got your grid of gems and stuff that are falling, that you got to match up. And you basically got 3 moves at the start of your turn, and you make them all at the beginning. Then it just happens.
Yep.
So, for example, you've got you move one of them, move a gem to make a match of 4. Then you can move up or down, left or right, or diagonally to do this matching. So you do your 3 moves, and then they play out in that order, in the order you did them in. And you might end up getting more matches as the things drops. But what you can also do is if you match 5 do a match of 5, you get an extra action point for your next turn. So you can end up having 5 or 6 turns depending on how well you do your matching. And you've got the same things, like you've got your mana points that you put into the various colours of the gems that you can then use that to do particular attacks and buffs and stuff like that. It's not bad. I mean, it's not and you've got gear that you pick up that you go along the way that you can also level up as well. They've got a whole bunch of, as you can imagine with a game like it is, they've got a bunch of various upgrade material currency things that you can do, that you can use. So I think I'm level 11 or 12, and my gear score is like 330 or something. Can't remember what the number was now, but 300 something. And basically up against enemies that have either got yeah, they say that their gear score is 220 or 300, whatever it is.
Mm.
So yeah, I am kind of liking it a lot actually. It's definitely one of it's a podcast game. There's no freaking story to speak of really. There is if you really look at it and read it, but
Yeah.
it's basically just a vague excuse to do the next battle basically. And some of them are just one-off fights. Some of them are like you'll have a conversation. Not that you control it, you just have this back and forth conversation with your between your character and other characters. You then have a fight, then have another character conversation, then have another fight, then finish. We might be conversation, two fights, conversation. So just get this sort of pattern stuff. You've got members of your party that you can um, sort of recruit and then level up independent of you, and then you can have they've got their own sort of weird quest lines and stuff like that. So it's got a lot of to it that makes it a fair more involved than just a straight up campaign and nothing more. But yes, it's. I think I might do a video of it when I'm back in a position to do a video, which will be at least a couple of weeks away, because it is worth I think seeing. Because I had no idea it was even out. I had no idea. Just appeared on a dashboard. Well, what the hell?
I think I remember hearing about it like last year at some point while it was out in early access.
Yeah, I had
And
no
it was
idea.
like,
So I just thought,
yeah.
well, okay. I had no idea. I just thought, wait a second, is that a game that's been out years ago and it's just come to Xbox now? But no, it was a new game. So I was like, okay, I've always liked those, so I'll dig in. But yeah, I'm kind of liking it. But yeah, sorry.
That's fine. So we got to Might and Magic Clash here. Like I said, that's the sort of match 3-ish game from the Xbox Live Arcade era. The last, like, I don't know, 10 days of July, though, from a size and scope perspective, it kind of, no, I don't want to say crazy. That's not the right word. It is pretty impressive, though. I don't have any cares about Pikmin 4, but people do, and it is still a big release. That's coming out on the 21st. There's a demo of that, I think, on the eShop. If not now, then it will be soon.
Yep.
They announced that during that Nintendo thing. Remnant 2 on the 25th. Fucking let's go. I'm so hopeful this comes out well. But we will find out on the 25th. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart hitting the PC.
It's going to be interesting to see how that comes out in terms of its performance, because there are a lot of games from the Sony side that come out pretty average, but we'll still see.
Oh yeah, that Last of Us port. Fuck. Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, a new Double Dragon game in 2023. And it kind of has an animation style like the Ninja Turtles game.
Okay, yep.
Doesn't have a link on here, but Hua and the Five Pirates of Mara. I looked it up on Steam. It's this cool, like, 3D platformer looking game.
Okay, yep.
Like, nice, colourful sort of look to it. So I'm like, I've added that to my wish list. I'm like, that could end up being great. Disney Illusion Island. AKA Mickey Mouse Metroidvania. Coming out on the 28th. And then on the 31st, F1 Manager 2023 and Rise of the Triad Ludicrous Edition, which is just a re-release of the old Rise of the Triad.
Rise of the Triad game, yep.
Where if you type G-O-D, you just get God mode, and you have a hand that just goes, and you throw an orb, or you type D-O-G, and you become dog. And you run around and go, rawr.
So another list I'm looking at has a few other games on it that I'm surprised aren't on the other one. So the Expanse, a Telltale series, is out on the 27th. Which I'm intrigued to see what that's. I'm not too sure. I'm not.
Hey, yeah, that's what the fuck. That's not on this list. What the hell?
Yeah, no. So yeah, I'm not. I don't know the Expanse series that much, but anything that's got the Telltale series name in the title is going to get my interest. So that's that one.
Keep in mind, it's new Telltale, not old Telltale, even though they may be fairly similar.
But there's obviously devs from Telltale that originally were in this group, so it's not as if it's completely.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a fairly big
of
chunk of the old Telltale team that's in that.
Yeah, Viewfinder's out on the 18th, which is a game that we did.
Oh fuck! How did I forget about that?
We did that video a couple of weeks back. That game is really, really impressive. That game, was quite impressive. So looking forward to that one.
I'm semi-scared of that game.
Another game I'm interested in is on my wish list, and that's called Homeseek. It's another city builder. I think that's just coming to early access though. Let me just check that. Oh no, might not be. I'm not so sure. But yeah, there's a demo of that out that I have played. That is quite good. I played it actually like a month or so ago now. I played it a while ago.
The demo is still live.
Still live, so I think they may have even made some tweaks to the demo since they put it out when I played it. So, yeah, it's interesting, that one. I think it's going to be more on the line of probably more aligned with in terms of its setting and what you're trying to do in it moment to moment, to sort of more of the Frostpunk, where things can go bad real quick kind of stuff, but not as dramatic as that one. But that's kind of what I sort of got from it when I was sort of playing it. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, they're the only ones I'm sort of seeing in here that aren't on that other list, which is intriguing why they weren't even on there. But yeah. But yeah, some decent games in there to look forward to, I think. Yeah, very much looking forward to Viewfinder. And Homeseek, I'm looking forward to seeing how that lands. And I'm also looking to see how Ratchet and Clank actually comes out on PC. But,
yeah.
I'm with you. I don't follow the Pikmin series at all, but a lot of people like that series, so it's a big release.
They did,
not something on not my plate, but yeah.
They did re-releases of 1 and 2 for the Switch. They did it. One of the few. There weren't too many, and it's available right now.
Oh, okay.
During not E3. But that was one. Both Pikmin 1 and 2 hitting the Switch. Yeah, I'm very curious. Did you know this? I think we've talked about this. The new season of Futurama is hitting soon.
I think that's July in like a couple of weeks' time. I think. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought that was like going to be later this year when that was announced. So I'm surprised.
I completely forgot about it.
I didn't forget about it. I just knew it was coming. I just think it was going to be coming like in later this year. So. Yeah.
So we're going to get it on Disney Plus over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Hulu over in the States, but we're getting it on Disney Plus. So we will have access to that new season of Futurama.
Yep.
I haven't watched the last new seasons of Futurama yet. Fuck. Anyway, I'm halfway tempted to try and play Oxenfree during the holidays at some point. It's only like 4 or 5 hours. Maybe I can get through it. Yeah. Anyway. I got nothing.
Yep, cool.
This has been episode 283. I'm sure it's 283. I thought the last... Wait. No, the last was 283.
Last one was 282. I checked.
There we go. All right. 283 just has a nice ring to it. Anyway. Yeah. This has been the Should I Play This Game podcast for the 3rd of July, 2023.
Not Independence
Day -1. God fucking damn it. We will have some video stuff going up, being recorded next Sunday. Hopefully all things being...
Not for me, right? Not for me, you won't. I'm not here.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
God damn it.
I'll be flying to...
I'll do something.
You'll do something, yeah.
I'll do something, and more likely than not, I'll be back to MK11 and Friday Night Fight Night on Friday, and then the last weekend of the holidays will be when we do another one of these.
Yep.
So we will hear all about Graham's trip with the Rogue Ally.
Mm-hmm.
I hopefully just won't play Diablo 4 for the next 2 weeks, but that's very, very possible because I'm an idiot. But for now, we're going to say bye.
Bye.
All right. Hit the button, Graham. Hit that button. Yeah.